John,
know.
if I was on the other side of here, you know I'd whoop you. But I do love my job on Smooth. You may have noticed because every now and then I get to meet a legend. You probably heard that before, haven't you?
I've heard it a few times, but it's new every time.
Okay, John Legend, welcome to Smooth.
So good to be here. So great to see you.
Good to see you too. Right, let's talk Get Lifted. I can't believe that it's 20 years. The album was released 29th December 2004.
Yes.
Get Lifted, the first single was 2005, beginning of 2005.
Well, Used to Love You was actually the first single, and we released it in August of 2004, and then Ordinary People was the follow-up.
Which is the one that everybody holds on
Yes.
to. Let's talk Ordinary People. Let's talk about the story behind it. I know you've done this
Yes.
many times, but it's such an emotional story. Let's get into that.
Yeah, so Ordinary People, it started in a session with Will I Am.
Mm-hmm.
So Will, obviously the producer and the founder of the Black Eyed Peas, and just a really talented guy. And we had started writing together because we had the same manager at the time. And we wrote She Don't Have to Know for Get Lifted.
We'll talk about that song in a moment.
We wrote some songs for the Black Eyed Peas, and he was in New York, and I was living in New York. And he was like, hey, I'm in town, let's write. And so we were supposed to be writing for the Black Eyed Peas, and we came up with this chorus for Ordinary People. And I decided that I wanted to keep it for myself. And so I came to the UK and to Europe on tour with Kanye because we were touring the College Dropout at the time. And I had just gotten signed to Columbia Records and was getting ready to finish up Get Lifted. And most of the songs had already been written for Get Lifted, but Ordinary People hadn't been. And I started writing it on the road. We were doing sound checks on the tour, and I just started writing the rest of the verses for the song. And I was inspired by my family because at the time, my parents were going through a second divorce. So they had divorced each other when I was a kid, gotten remarried when I graduated from university, and then were getting divorced again. And so I wasn't actually in like a serious relationship at the time, but I was seeing the ups and downs of love through my parents, and wrote Ordinary People, really inspired by their story and our story as a family.
And love is just what it is. There is no definition. It's what defines you. So if you get married, get divorced, get married. Society says there must be something wrong, but they were just ordinary people.
Just ordinary people.
Finding their way.
Trying to find their way. We don't know which way to go. You know, it was really true. And you know, we put the song out first on a sampler. So this was before the album came out. Back in the CD days, we used to put songs on samplers to give to like radio or to promo. The first single, Used to Love You, was the first track. And then we had snippets of 3 other tracks. And then we had Ordinary People as a full song at the end. And one of the radio stations that we gave it to in Chicago decided that they loved Ordinary People so much that they were skipping over the first single, Used to Love You, and going straight to Ordinary People. They started playing it, and it started to get such a response from the audience. I think because it sounded so different from everything else that was on the radio, it would really literally stop people in their tracks when they heard it. They were like, what is this? Because, you know, everything was crunk then, and there was so much kind of up-tempo R&B and hip-hop on the radio. And when Ordinary People would come on, they would be like,
you stop in your tracks.
What was this?
Yeah.
What was this? And so it really succeeded because it sounded so different from everything else. And it really struck a chord with people because they heard the lyric so clearly, you know, because it was just my voice and the piano. They heard so clearly what I was saying, and they felt that it connected with their own experience. And I met so many people that said it saved their relationship, helped them think about their relationship, and it meant so much to them. And it still means so much to so many people. And I still meet people that will tell me where they were when they first heard that song.
I want to go through, I was going to say 2 tracks, but the chances are I'm going to get in this groove and we're going to go through the whole album.
We'll get into it.
Let's talk about Get Lifted.
Yes.
Let's talk about that bass line. Let's talk about the piano. Let's just talk about the whole arrangement of that track.
So we started the album with the prelude and then...
Come on and go.
Come on and go.
Yes.
That's right. Sing it. And then go into this version of Let's Get Lifted, which ended up being basically the title track for the album. And all of my albums, I usually come up with the title after I've written the songs. And so calling the album Get Lifted was inspired by the fact that I had this song called Let's Get Lifted. And I love the feeling of that lyric of, you know, a sense of optimism, a sense of being lifted, getting high on life.
Can I ask you about one line? Once you get a hit of this,
you won't ever want to quit.
Oh, right now. Okay, so go on, yeah.
And, you know, Kanye made that beat, and I wrote it in my apartment with one of my roommates, who was not even a songwriter. He was like an investment banker. So we had gone to university together, and so I had roommates that I had went to university with, and we were all working like corporate day jobs. I was a management consultant. My roommate was an investment banker. And Kanye gave me this beat, and I wanted to write to it. And I was writing to it in our apartment with my investment banker roommate. And we wrote the lyric, and then I recorded the demo version. But then once I got my record deal and was doing the final versions, I decided to kind of lace it with the piano, make it a little more airy, do some of those Marvin Gaye style background vocals in the background, and really kind of added a little more depth and warmth to the track by doing that. And so the final version you hear is kind of the progression that the song went through.
Okay. There is a bass line on the track and also a message on the track, Live It Up.
Live it up.
Every time I'm on a downer, I put that on.
Speaking of roommates,
Go for it.
So my other roommate, Devon, he's actually Kanye's cousin, and the reason I met Kanye in the first place was because of Devon, and he made this beat, and we wrote Live It Up together, once again, in our apartment. So, you know, a lot of those early tracks, you know, I was just writing in my apartment, and I wrote both Let's Get Lifted and Live It Up before I got a record deal. So these were kind of aspirational songs, hoping that everything would work out with my career, but I had no idea. But Live It Up was kind of like celebrating in advance, you know.
Boy.
We're finally on our way. Now it's time to celebrate. It was about how I would feel if everything came together.
But you spoke it into existence
exactly.
anyway, John.
It was before, yeah.
All right, let's talk about the track Stay With You.
Yes.
Now, we're going to talk All of Me, but because I know you sang that to Chrissy at your wedding. I've always wanted to ask you, why didn't you sing Stay With You? That's the ultimate wedding song.
It's funny you asked that question.
Come on now.
It's funny you asked that question because I sang both of them.
But I wasn't at the wedding, so how would I know? And this is all we hear, that you say. That is just the most. That is the ultimate wedding song.
So I agree with you, and I sang it at my wedding. I started with Stay With You, and then I closed with All of Me. But both of those songs are really important to me, and I thought both of them were really good expressions of what it means to want to be with someone forever.
Yeah, because
so
it is a choice, John, isn't it? We're going to talk fatherhood and marriage.
And actually, Stay With You is my oldest song that's been released.
Okay.
So I wrote that one in 2001, and I started writing it on the subway in New York on my way to work. Again, I was working a day job as a management consultant, and I was trying to figure out how to quit my day job and focus solely on music. But in the meantime, I would just write songs during my breaks and whenever something came to me. And a lot of times it would come to me on the subway because something about being in motion, being around other people would inspire me. And I started singing into my little voice recorder, that idea. And it started in 2001, and it's the oldest song that made Get Lifted, and it's the oldest song that I've released in my career.
And it is the best.
Oh, thank you.
And I tell people, because this is no disrespect to Heatwave and Always and Forever. That is, of course, that is...
classic. They're also from my home state of Ohio.
When you hear Stay With Me, Oh, my Lord.
There's been reggae versions too.
There have been many versions.
Yes.
There have been many versions. So we're now going to go, and I'm going to really hit you here, John. Let's go to the other side of the mountain now. All right. Stay with you. And then you put out a song called She Don't Have to Know.
She Don't Have to
John,
Know.
if I was on the other side of here, you know I'd whoop you. But I've never known a love song that talks about cheating and makes it sound so painful and as if you're the victim. You understand? yeah. Come on now. Where did that come from, John?
This was another collaboration with will.i.am.
Okay.
And this was actually the first time I met will.i.am. So we had the same manager, and I was living in New York. Will was living in Los Angeles. He's from Los Angeles. And my manager was like, one of the first ideas he had for collaborations for me was, you got to go out to LA and work with Will. Will and you would get along so well, and I could see you guys creating something great together. And the first thing we wrote together was this dastardly cheating song called She Don't Have to Know. And we wanted it to sound sexy.
Yes.
And painful.
Yes.
Anguished.
Yes.
And a little dramatic.
Yeah.
And it's a classic cheating song. I'm sorry.
But the thing is, it almost sounds as though it's okay to cheat. Do you know what I mean? That line.
Yes, a lot of people were upset with me because I made cheating sound so appealing, so romantic.
Oh my God, it's that line, let's go to DC.
And hold hands
publicly.
All through the streets.
Because they don't know you and they don't know me. John, anyway, we'll leave that one there. The track
it's in the lineage of songs like Me and Mrs. Jones and
absolutely
and Sweet Thing. These are like classic songs about being with someone who's not yours.
You put it on another platform. I think Me and Mrs. Jones goes to the mountain, but I think you took She Don't Have to Know to the mountain and over it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we love it. Don't get me wrong. I still love you. The song that I love with the Stevens family.
It Don't Have to Change.
Took it to church, my man. Come on now.
Well, that was inspired, of course, by growing up in the church and playing in the church with my family. But also, we would go to my Granny Stevens' house.
Yeah.
And this is my father's mother. And we would go there every Christmas. And I say it in the lyric of the song. Do you remember back at Granny's house on Christmas Day, how we'd gather around and sing all day? And we literally would do that. We'd sing together around the piano. And I wanted to recreate that, and I wrote an original song honoring that, and went out to Ohio to record it with my family. And I wanted to show everybody what I came from,
Yes.
And honor that with my debut album. And that will always be our family song.
Beautiful. I want to do a little teaser here. We're going to come off of Get Lifted.
Mm-hmm.
Baby, baby, baby. Come on now. Once I knew
You're serenading me today. I like this.
Once I knew I heard you on the backing of that. Working with Alicia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this was before I had a record deal. This was while I was still unsigned, and Kanye and Harold Lilly and Alicia Keys were writing this song, You Don't Know My Name, together. And Kanye's like, Alicia, you know who would be perfect on these vocals. You don't know him yet, but I want you to meet this guy named John Legend. He's signed to my production company. And she's like, all right, bring him in. And they brought me in, and I came in and sang all those falsetto background vocals on You Don't Know My Name.
Oh, my goodness.
That was me.
Gives me chills. Gives me chills. You sing a lot about love, a lot about marriage. You've been 12 years married now, which is a choice.
Absolutely.
In this day and age.
A good choice.
Especially in the business that you are in.
Sure.
You have to make choices to close certain doors, go home and be daddy.
Yeah.
You have to make choices to close doors, go home and be Mr. Stevens to the beautiful Chrissy. And on that, you can build the platform of family.
Yeah.
When we first met, Luna was in nappies. I can remember you wanting to go. I got to get back to the hotel. But we now have Miles, Esti, and Wren. Talk to me about fatherhood. How has it enriched your life?
Oh, I love it. It gives you more perspective, gives you something more to go home to, and there's so much energy in the house right now because the kids are so young. Our youngest is going to turn 2 in a couple weeks. And so there's just so much energy and laughter around the house. And it's a little stressful sometimes too, but it's a lot of joy and a lot of energy, a lot of laughter. And it's fun just seeing their different personalities. Each of them is truly different from each other, and seeing what makes each of them tick and what their senses of humor are, everything. It really is fun and interesting, and Chrissy and I are really enjoying parenthood together.
There's a beautiful meme that I saw. I should have actually screen grabbed it to show you. It wasn't a meme, sorry, it was an Insta post. You were with Miles, and the comments were, but Miles looked more like John Legend than John Legend looked like John Legend. He really is the stamp of you.
I always say he's the Thai version of me, and Luna's the black version of Chrissy.
Love it, love it, love it.
But because she really does look like Chrissy, and he really does look like me. It's interesting seeing their personalities because Luna is a lot like Chrissy.
Okay.
She has a lot of her sense of humor and her spunk. And I see some elements of me and Miles, and then some elements that are a little more different. He's a lot more stubborn than I was.
Okay.
He's a Taurus. But I'm so curious to see, the kind of young man he becomes. But we have a lot of fun together. He's my oldest boy, and we do a lot of kind of boy dad things together. We play football in the backyard and basketball and watch sports together. So it's interesting seeing how they're different and what their interests are. But Miles, he's a really smart kid. He's really fun and funny, and I like being a dad to him. I think it teaches me a lot too.
Yeah, your children teach you.
Yeah,
they're sent to teach you out of the mouth of babes.
Yeah, and I think it's important for dads to help their young boys grow into great young men, especially. And so I'm very intent on working with him to be a great young man.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The Get Lifted tour starts here in the UK. Still can't believe that it's 20 years.
I'm so happy we're starting it here, honestly. The UK means a lot to me, and especially this album, I feel like it's very connected to the UK and my journey. A lot of it was so shaped by what was happening with my career here in the UK. I remember playing Jazz Cafe before the album came out.
Yes.
I remember playing Hammersmith Apollo and Brixton and some of these great venues.
Guesting on the Mobos.
Yes, the Mobos, yes. Yeah. All that stuff early on, and working with Estelle early on. And all of that is so connected to the early part of my journey. And I'm so glad we're starting the tour here.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Yes, we'll be at the O2.
Yeah. It's great the way that you talk about your love for music, your connection, and the fact that a lot of your songs didn't even start in a studio or with musicians. It came from the soul. Yeah,
it just came from being out there and living and experiencing life and having music in my heart and in my mind all the time. It means you could write a song at any point. And so that's the way I approach writing, is that it can happen anytime.
Yeah.
And so I'm always ready. I have my phone now. Back then, we didn't have recorders on the phone. We had little voice recorders that were separate. But now I'll sing things into my phone all the time and write lyrics down on my phone. And I'm always listening, always open to my muse coming to me at any time.
John Legend, all the best with the Get Lifted
Thank
tour.
you.
So pleased to meet you again.
What a joy to hang out with you.
Oh, we got to do this again.
And you serenaded me, and we're having a good time.
Imagine if we had more time.
Ah, my goodness.
John Legend, thanks so much.
Thank you.